Okay, so whenever you talk to somebody who is working in sales, or really actually a lot of people who work in sales, quite frankly, one of the biggest barriers to people being able to find clients is nervousness during cold calls, right? And I've even heard stories of salespeople who don't even call just because they're worried, just because they're nervous. Um, and something that I have done over the last year is I've done a lot of cold calling, and I'm not going to pretend like it's fun, but there are strategies that you can incorporate to make it less nerve-wracking for yourself. So, first of all, something that I would always do right before I would make my dials and talk to someone is realizing that the person on the other side is just a normal human being. They have their own story. Um, you know, they're going through their own ups and downs in life. And when you realize that they're just a peer, they're just another human being walking the earth, just like you and me, you realize that it's not that scary, right? Like you're not calling an authority figure or anything like that. It's not like you're arguing with somebody who really has power over you. This is simply just someone that you're calling to say, hey, just letting you know, we have the solution for you. We know that your business is doing this, and so this could actually benefit you. Um, and I'll tell you this, I've only had one person actually get mad at me, and that's because he was upset about the fact that I had his phone number because I used an Apollo list and he was upset about it. Now, to be clear, I wouldn't have called him had I known that he would have been upset, because that's not fair, right? Like I don't want to bother anybody. Um, but it is what it is, right? Like that stuff's gonna happen. And that was like one experience out of, thousands of calls that I've made. Um, so that's one thing. There's another really practical one, which is when you when you have your phone, like when you're just holding it, you're about to make a phone call. What really helps is moving the phone away from your face right before you make a call, because in the event that someone actually does get mad at you or they're awkward or the situation's awkward, all you have to do is this, and you're no longer dealing with the negative situation, right? Like, even if someone's yelling at you, you could just kind of move the phone away. And just knowing that you have that physical ability to do that, it really helps with lowering your stress right before you make a call. Um, Another thing that I would say is if you're able to kind of like write out a word for word script for like the first few interactions, that also really helps a lot. So if you're able to if you're able to even write down like, oh, I'm going to say, hi, how are you? And then after they respond, I'm going to ask, can I speak to your manager? I'm calling for this reason. Um, and you could just read, like for the first 20 seconds of the interaction, you could just read off. And then from there, you can kind of do a freestyle and actually have a conversation with them. And I think that's really one of the hardest things about cold calling is that you don't really know what to say, right? Like it's kind of awkward. You don't know how they're going to react. Um, but I think that when you just explain to people in the first 30 seconds what you're doing and why you're calling, people really appreciate that, right? Like they actually will respect you more, even if they're not interested. And that's why I've only had one person actually get mad at me. And it wasn't even really my fault. It just, again, I didn't know that he was upset about his number being out there. I was using a generated list, and so yeah, I personally think that cold calling it's one of those things that can work. I've certainly noticed that it hasn't been as effective for me. But if you work a job where you have to cold call, these are the kinds of strategies that could really, really help you. I might make, if I think of some more ideas, I'll make another video, but overall, that's how I would say you could be a little less nervous. So again, remember that they're just a person, they're a human being. There's somebody that you could theoretically go to coffee with. Um, you know, remember that you can hang up whenever things get intense. You can move the phone away from your face. You're in control, right? You're in control of the situation. So, anyways, this is just my take, and hopefully this helps.